yogis, Amanda here, creator of Yoga for Bigger Bodies. Thanks for joining me again. Today's video is a sequence that I like to do every morning to help stoke my digestion. Like a lot of people, I've got digestive issues, and the sequence that I'm going to show today, as well as one pranayama or breathing technique, really helps to get those juices and things moving around. As we move through this sequence, the intention is really to put some gentle pressure on the torso, the abdominal area, to sort of get things moving and to stimulate those digestive organs. So as you're moving through the poses, don't worry about where you're feeling the stretch or the strength, or you're really feeling the sort of the muscular part of the pose, but really focus on more that gentle pressure on the torso. Now, if your digestive issues are more acidic in nature, these poses might not be the best for you. Give them a try, but if they flare up your digestive issues, find something else to do. We're going to start with child's pose, or rather I always start with child's pose. And there's a couple ways that we can do child's pose, especially if we're a little bit bigger. This is done on the knees, so if you need to, double up your mat or find something to kneel on, a blanket, a towel, something soft. Now all of these poses, hold them for a while, 2, 3, 5 minutes, however much time you have, but we want to sort of hold them as long as we can to really keep that pressure there and encourage things to get moving and to get fired up. So child's pose is a nice resting pose where we lay forward and put some gentle pressure on the torso. Now I always like to do this with the big toes together and knees wide. Basically what that does is create more space for the belly. So as I reach forward or lay forward, I've got some space. Now, if you've got a bigger belly or you're tight in the hips and you can't quite get all the way to the floor, a couple options for you might be either taking a block under your forehead, stacking hands or fists under your forehead to lift your head up a little bit, or another really nice option, a nice relaxing option, is to use a rolled up blanket or a bolster as I have here, or even stack up some bed pillows and lay yourself over it and rest down on it. That also puts a little bit more pressure on the torso, again, to get those digestive juices flowing. So in child's pose, you can hold it. Not much activity in this pose, but as well as getting that digestive juices flowing, it's also a nice release for the inner thighs and the low back, especially with the knees wide like this. From child's pose, again, I'll hold 2, 3, 5 minutes depending how much time I have in the morning. I move into cobra. From there, I just lower myself down to the floor, work the thighs together, gently hug them together. The hands are in line with the chest, elbows tuck in. Now, if you're got a lot of stuff in the way and this is really uncomfortable, just feel free to move that stuff out of the way if you need to. If this pose is completely uncomfortable for you because of your size or shape, you can skip this one. We've got other options. But if you are going to choose to do cobra, hands on the floor again, elbows in, and we gently sort of lift the torso, or sorry, the chest away from the floor. We want to keep the head in line with the spine. Not only are we stoking our digestive fire, but this is also nice back strengthener. Hands are nice and gentle on the floor, elbows hugging in, back of the neck is long, hold. You can release. If you need to for your back, you can sort of shift your legs side to side, release the low back a bit, or even push back into child's pose. I like to do this 4 or 5 times, holding for a count of 5 or 10, whatever I feel comfortable doing each morning. And then I always end and spend another minute or so in child's pose, finding an option that's working for me in the morning. From child's pose, I come into seated twist. Now, I like to do seated twist, especially in the morning on a bolster. Again, if you don't have a bolster, you can stack up some blankets. You can sit on some pillows. Just raise yourself up a little bit. This is especially good option for someone who has tight hips or hamstrings, or just needs a little bit more cushioning as they sit. Now again, because we want to be putting some gentle pressure on the torso, the seated twist option that we're going to do today, we're going to start with our right leg up, left leg long. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this left hand, keep this left leg active, left hand reaches, twist into yourself. Now again, if you feel like your belly's in the way, pick it up and move it away from the joint. Move the flesh. We're twisting over to the right side. We want to sit up nice and tall when we twist. Try to keep that spine as lifted as possible. Taking the gaze over to the right side, even over your back shoulder if you can. Get a nice stretch in that neck in the morning. Now, if this knee bothers you or this hip is tight, you can always move it a little bit more out to the side. But again, just hold, use a little bit of leverage and pull yourself into that leg. Again, hold a couple minutes each side, move into the other side. Again, give yourself some space. Do what you need to do to make the pose comfortable for you. Twist on over to the left. Spine is lifted. We want to try to keep the chest broad. And try to hug your navel back a little bit to the spine. So it's not really sucking in your gut or holding your breath, but just feel those abdominal muscles start to tighten and creep toward one another a little bit. Not only is that good for strengthening your abs, but that also helps to get those digestive juices flowing as well. Hold on the left side, same amount of time that you hold on the right. And then we're going to find one more pose before we move into our Kapalabhati breathing. Excuse me. So for our seated, next we're going to move into seated forward fold. Excuse me. So legs are extended long. Stay on this bolster. Again, these poses are more about putting that gentle pressure on the torso. So lifting up and closing that angle at the front of the joints can help do that. Use your strap if you'd like. That makes it a little bit easier. But we're going to wrap the strap around the balls of the feet. One end of the strap in either hand, and just gently pull yourself forward. If you need to, you can always bend those knees, especially if your hamstrings are tight, or maybe stick a rolled blanket underneath your knees. Another option is you can take another pillow or rolled up blanket or towel, put that on your lap, and lean over that. Again, just a little bit of extra pressure. You can let the chin tuck here so the back of the neck is long. Hold for a couple minutes. This one also helps to open up the back side of the body, Paschimottanasana, rod pose. And then you can release. Finally, I like to end my digestive sequence with some breath work called Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is also called skull shining breath. And basically what we do is we take a deep breath in, and then we have our exhales are almost like little pulses as they come out. Now, if you've got blood pressure issues, I would suggest skipping this part of this sequence, or just shorten it up, just do a couple, see how that feels, and build on there. So sitting up nice and tall so we can make lots of space for the lungs, we take a deep breath in. This is all coming out of the nose, and we want to exhale, draw the navel in, stoke that digestive fire as you exhale. So inhale and exhale. Notice how my stomach on the exhale draws in, again, activating the muscles, the organs in the torso. Again, inhale and exhale. And release. I tend to do 5 or 10 at a time and maybe build on there. Again, keep it nice and short at first. Breathwork can definitely sort of shift things around for you, so if you start to feel dizzy, discontinue doing the Kapalabhati breathing. Another thing is if you've got any stuff going on in your nose, keep a Kleenex handy. Again, Amanda, creator of Yoga for Bigger Bodies, thank you for joining me today, and I hope you get those digestive juices, digestive fire flowing with the sequence today. Namaste.